Hi, welcome back to our channel. In this overgrown corner of our garden, you can just see glimpses of our first ever work in concrete. The little gnome home, which we made about 4 or 5 years ago, before we even considered making the sculpture garden, is tucked away in here. In this video, we are going to uncover the gnome home and bring it back to its glory and explain the process of how it was made along the way. Like many of our projects, which are purely ornamental and non-structural, we start out with cardboard boxes and what I refer to as junk armature. You can see the basic form here is made up of 2 cardboard boxes, some soft drink bottles, and a bit of bubble wrap. We covered the boxes with some recycled bubble wrap to just give them a plastic layer to protect the cardboard from the moisture of the concrete once it went on, so they didn't collapse by getting too wet before the concrete had a chance to go off. Then we've wrapped it in a layer of chicken wire. The chicken wire gives everything a little bit of structural strength, and it gives the concrete something to grip to when you start to render. This was one of our earliest experiments with concrete, and I think we probably just used a standard mortar mix of 2 parts sand, 1 part concrete. No special add mixes or anything at this stage. I'm not even sure I knew what they were. We made the funky little roofs by dipping pieces of old towel into a concrete slurry and soaking that up, and then wrapping them around on each other. Although the outcome looked pretty good, this is not a process that I'd do now, and I'll explain why later. We built the little house in 2 parts, purely for logistical purposes, so that it wasn't too heavy when it came to transport it later. Because the bottom floor had to support the weight of the top, we added a bit of fine rebar in there to give it just a bit more structural strength. We were both pretty pleased with the outcome at this stage. All it needed now was a lick of paint and a position in the garden. We chose a bare spot under some of the poplar trees, and our good friend Joycey came down and helped us to clear out the space, lay down a bit of weed mat, and create a rocky edge before placing our little gnome home. Of course, our beautiful Bingo, project overseer, was there with us every step of the way. It took us a good couple of hours to cut back all the overgrowth and weed out underneath the gnome home. At the end of this process, we were both completely knackered. This is as far as we got on the first day. When the sun next came out a few days later, we went back and finished the job, completing it with a brand new layer of fresh mulch and putting all the little gnomes back into the positions. I also gave the roof a fresh coat of paint. Now, the paint that I used was a mix of outdoor acrylic and concrete mixed just into a loose slurry, and I repainted the green roofs with this. The reason for this, I mentioned earlier that I would not use fabric again dipped in concrete, because although the structure has stood quite well for this 4 years or so, the material inside the roof, the fabric, has started to break down. So this extra coating of paint and concrete slurry should give it just a little bit more life. The Stay Away Lodge, home for lost and wayward gnomes, is open once again. Thanks for watching, and hit like and subscribe to support our channel.